I'm so sick of League of Legends. I can go 3-1 in my mid lane, and then my top, my bot, and my jungle all feed and flame me for not carrying them. It feels like I have a sack of bricks tied around my ankle whenever I play this game because I always have a feeder. So I'm so sick of team games like this, it's not fun. And I can't even play solo games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because if you're not playing the top deck, then you're not playing the game at all. I just wish there was some game that I could be playing with friends, or even play by myself, that would be really fun and just give me some great times.
You fool of a chook.
Gandalf?
Why would you be playing that garbage when you'd be playing a better game? Here, I'll show you the best game that there ever existed.
Whoa! Thanks, Gandalf. I really appreciate it. But why are you here? Didn't you sail off into the west with Bilbo, Galadriel, and Frodo?
Well, I guess it's for the sake of this skit, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The Lord of the Rings Online, originally produced in April 24th, 2007 by Turbine Games, which would eventually become Warner Bros. Games Boston. Turbine ended up selling The Lord of the Rings Online and Dungeons & Dragons Online to Standing Stone Games in December 2016. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Tristan. I usually make Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos, such as deck profiles, but I want to take the opportunity to share about one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Lord of the Rings Online. I started playing it in 2011 as a 12-year-old and put many hours into the game, even getting my Runekeeper up to level 47 and entering Moria, as well as having about, I think it was 8 ults at the time. Unfortunately, my account was locked by Turbine due to some issues about membership payments and credit card cancellation fees, and I did not want to make a new account since I had already spent so much time on my beloved characters. However, I recently talked with Standing Stone Games over email and was able to recover my account. Unfortunately, my characters died in server transfers over the years. I think I was part of Treebeard at the time, or something similar to that, I don't remember the name. But, over the course of 7 days, I put in over 60 hours on a single character.
Nice.
I did all this to see after 11 years if this game is still as amazing as I remember. Okay, this will prove this game is amazing, because a game is only as good as its hats. Boy, look at that drip. Lord of the Rings Online has tons of cosmetic options, some that you have to pay for and some you earn through playing the game. For example, this is Lalia's Market in Bree. It has tons of clothing options for premium currency, such as capes, armor sets, mount sets, pants, shoulders, whole kit and caboodle. All the clothing in here in Lalia's Market can be purchased with Mithril coins, which can be purchased with LOTRO points, which can be earned either in the game by doing deeds and tasks throughout the world, or by earning it out of the game, i.e. spending cash. I'll talk more on the deed system later on in this video. It's pretty important, comes in a lot with your late game progression and also with just playing through the game in general. The cosmetic options in Lord of the Rings Online are very wide. You usually start off with 2 outfit slots as a free player, and what you can do is you can slot purely cosmetic items such as like robes or capes, or you can slot weapons and armor that you have earned throughout your playthrough to cosmetically override your character. You can store 2 of these at once, and you actually don't need to keep the gear in your inventory, so you can store it in the bank and you'll still keep your cosmetic override. Each piece can actually be hidden individually, so if I don't want my hat, I can hide my hat. If I don't want my shoulders, I can hide my shoulders. If I don't want my cape, I can hide that as well, and you can even hide weapon options. The gear you can earn in-game looks pretty sweet at the high levels. Oftentimes it is some pretty cool heavy looking armor, especially when you get above level 100. In level 100 to like 140 range, the gear looks the best. However, when you get to the really low levels, the gear looks a little bit wonky, like original WoW wonky. But that's what I like about the cosmetic system. It allows you to mix and match the pieces of gear that you do like, such as my hat being mixed with some cosmetic robes I had from Rohan, to give me this kind of swanky look of a bard. You want to make sure that you're constantly upgrading your gear, usually it's from quests, because sooner or later you're going to be out-crept because the gear scaling starts to shoot to the moon once you get to later expansions. Crafting is extremely important in Lord of the Rings Online. Oftentimes, it is the best way for you to get gear before level 50, and they will always outpace the quest gear that you will earn. It is also extremely important because it gives you consumables such as food, potions, and buffs that you'll be using throughout your journey in Middle-earth. Your journey with crafting will start with talking to a Master of Apprentices who will show you 7 different vocations. My screen only shows 6 because I'm already chosen one, which is a Tinkerer, which has Prospector, Jeweler, and Cook attached to it. Each vocation will have 3 subclasses attached to it, and you will have to stick with that throughout your playthrough. You can swap to a different vocation whenever you want, but you'll lose the progress on your subclasses if you swap. As you craft, you will gain both character XP and crafting XP. Everybody starts as an apprentice within their vocation, and as such needs to reach max XP cap with an apprentice to move to the next crafting tier. Once you do, you will move to Journeyman. It is also important to note that you can go back some tiers to be able to master your craft and become a Master Apprentice or a Master Journeyman or a Master Expert. The only downside to this though is you need to keep up in your crafts, because if you are a Master Apprentice but not a Master Journeyman, you can't become a Master Expert. As I had mentioned before, crafting gear is usually the best way for you to get the best gear for your level. As such, I can show you guys some of my jewelry, and as you can see, the stats on it are very high for the level that it is. Sometimes quest gear like that blue bracelet may be better, but oftentimes, as I said, crafting gear is just way much better at lower levels. Questing is very important in Lord of the Rings Online, very similar to Final Fantasy XIV, where you needed to progress to certain areas of the game, and also allows your character to grow and get strengths into the endgame. Quests are also extremely important because they can fulfill deeds in specific areas on the map, and these deeds will award Virtue XP. Virtue XP is the one very unique part of Lord of the Rings Online and also extremely important in your endgame grind. As you play throughout the game and you level up, you will achieve certain deeds, and these deeds may give you Virtue XP. Virtue XP is used to level up certain virtues that you can select, and each one will give active and passive bonuses to your character. Virtues actually incentivize you to go through the game and play it instead of just grinding skirmishes or instances in the game for XP. This is another reason why I love Lord of the Rings Online so much, because it awards you for going through the main story content as well as side areas, doing deeds, killing things, and just having a fun time questing. It's also important to note that these deeds will give you LOTRO points, which will allow you to go into the premium shop and buy mithril coins, pay for expansions, pay for riding, or pay for other things that you need. The riding skill allows you to ride mounts in the game, and unfortunately it is 95 LOTRO points. You can spend money and buy the skill outright, but by the time you're level 15 in the game, you should have earned enough LOTRO points doing deeds that you don't really need to worry about it. All you need to do is go to the Bree farm and buy a horse at that point. My only issue with questing is the fact that the game turns into Back to Elrond Simulator 3000 later on in the game, and it's oftentimes just annoying to go to Rivendell because it's out of the way. Now we get off into one of my favorite parts of Lord of the Rings Online, and that is the combat system. If you guys are WoW veterans, you'll definitely know this like the back of your hand because it is very reminiscent to old WoW, especially because it came out around the same time. There are 3 different spec lines you can choose from for your class, and that is Yellow Line, Red Line, and Blue Line. Blue Line usually has to do with survivability or healing depending on the class, Red Line is usually pure DPS, and Yellow Line allows you to get either a mix of both or is a crit class in the case of Runekeeper. Each of these has a unique playstyle. For example, in my Runekeeper, Red Line allows me to go for damage over time spells, while Yellow Line allows me to go for crit spells, and Blue Line is just pure healing. As I continued playing Lord of the Rings Online, I had started off as a Red Line Runekeeper for burn, but I felt like the immobileness of it was really bad, so I swapped to Yellow Line and found the mobile playstyle to be insanely fun. Being able to throw out lightning bolts and shocks and being able to crit your opponents for about 6k damage and insta-kill them is hilarious. However, Red Line is not without its merits because it does have a lot of AoE that the Yellow Line doesn't, and sometimes is better in certain situations. For example, me and my kin decided we want to run Fornost. Fornost is a 6-man instance and we only had 3 people, so it was me who was the DPS at the right level for it, our healer who was over-leveled for it, and a tank who was very under-leveled. If I didn't have my AoE runestone from my class, I would not have been able to survive that instance because our tank would have been burst down. As you can see, our tank started getting really low health, so he had to start running away from the mobs while our healer was trying to kite heal him, and a single drop of my runestone was able to take out all the mobs that were following him, because they were all trash mobs with very low health, but they constantly kept on hitting him. Speaking of group content, Lord of the Rings Online has quite a lot. The type of group content ranges from skirmishes, to missions, to instances, and to raids. Skirmishes can be done with multiple people, but they can also be done solo to farm XP and marks. As far as I know, missions are done solo. I haven't done any because I just recently got the expansion packs. Instances can range from 3-man to 6-man, and raids are often 12-man. The only issue is oftentimes you need to be in a kinship to be able to find people who are willing to do the stuff with you. The good part about that is if you have friends who are willing to play with you, you can keep on doing the instances and skirmishes all together and level all together and have fun. Another awesome feature of the combat within Lord of the Rings is they actually have a game mode called PvMP, which is player versus monster player. Player versus monster player allows you to play as basically anybody who follows Sauron. Whether that be a warg, an orc, a spider, it doesn't matter, you can just play any of them. The only caveat is you're stuck in the Etten Moors and you're already scaled to level 140, which is max level. What you do instead is you level up your corruptions and you basically enhance your character by getting more passives and better skills. It's another interesting thing that the game does, and I like the ability that they allow you to play as a monster. I hope to see in the future that they allow you to actually go into the open world and you may start as level 1 and you can just basically do player versus monster player, kind of similar to Horde versus Alliance. However, the only issue with that is the fact that you would need to write a questing system for the monsters, which would be a lot of work. All I can say about the map size for the Lord of the Rings Online is this. Damn! From what I've seen, some players have tried to measure the size of the map of the Lord of the Rings Online, since Standing Stone Games hasn't actually given us an actual measurement of its size currently. But if the players are correct, the size of the map is 30,000 miles squared. That is 1,500 times the size of the map of Grand Theft Auto 3. You can literally walk around this map for 6 hours straight and you still won't get to the end of it. Not even to mention you're only walking in a straight line. Your journeys may take you from Ered Luin to Angmar, to Rohan, to Moria, to Gondor, to Eriador, to Dale, to Mordor. There's just so much content in the game that's not even funny. And it even allows you to travel back in time to see Mordor before it was destroyed and even see like early Rohan and stuff like that. For example, I skipped Evendim entirely because it and the Trollshaws are roughly the same level at 30, and I did the Trollshaws instead. I only recently went back to Evendim because I had to go back there for the main storyline. If immersion is one of the most important things for you in a video game, you'll definitely love this. There's so much in the open world that you can just find, and you'll just enjoy yourself being able to explore the wilds. This game has so much content that I can't even speak on all of it. The game's amazing by all standards, and I'd say it's even better than WoW. It's better than Final Fantasy XIV in my opinion. It's better than any MMO that I have ever played since I first played this game. It is definitely still my favorite and has lived up to my hype, and I'm so happy that it has. If I was to rate this game, I would definitely give it 5 Fat Hobbitses out of 5. The game is amazing by all standards. It has lived up to the hype that I've held it to since I was a child, and it kept on growing. At one point, I know the community thought it was going to die because they finally released Mordor, I believe it was in 2014. And at that point, people were wondering, what are you supposed to do after Mordor? Well, Standing Stone Games took over the company and they kept on pumping content. And the content is great. They added missions, they added more instances, they added more raids, they kept on pushing, and the community has grown because of it. And I'm so grateful that this game is still alive. It definitely has some unique classes that I definitely love in the game, and it has just brought me so much joy being able to get back into this. I hope I can add some of you guys who are watching this video if it's your first time, or if you guys have been playing, because I definitely want to go on some raids with you guys. I want to play some instances, I want to do some fun stuff, and hopefully you guys who also watch me because of Yu-Gi-Oh! Will definitely join, because I definitely want to play some raids and do some instances maybe on Twitch with you guys. There's also something really important I forgot to mention, and it just came out recently. On Twitter, they posted that they're doing a promotion for free quest packs. I believe the code is FreeQuests, all cap, 2022. It will catch you up to the current quest cap that you guys need. It gets you all of Gondor, it gets you Yondershire, it gets you all the quest packs that they offer in-game. And also, all the expansions, the ones that were previous to Gundabad, which is the most recent, are all on sale for 99 turbine points. Usually they're 2,995, which can get pretty expensive if you're trying to buy all of them, but they're doing this sale till October 31st, I believe, and you guys definitely need to catch up and get into the game if this is the point that you want to play it. These expansions are insane. I'm glad that they offered so much free content, especially because I'm getting back into it right now, and I want to put in more time, and I'm so glad that these expansions went on sale for 99, because you would definitely have to shell out probably $100 if you want to get all the expansions and quest packs. And with that, I'm so glad that I was able to make this video and share my passion and my love for Lord of the Rings Online, and I hope that you guys definitely enjoyed it. If you guys can, please leave a like and a comment and maybe a subscribe. This video definitely took a very long time. I think I put in over 10 to 14 hours worth of editing into this video, because 1, I'm not a pro editor, I never went to school for it. 2, there was a lot of assets I had to do, and I also, mind you, I put 70 hours of gameplay into this. Yes, it was fun, but I needed to get all my own B-roll because I couldn't find any, or I didn't want to take others. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video, whether it be Yu-Gi-Oh! Or another game review. Hopefully I can do more in the future about games that I loved as a kid, and hopefully you guys will continue watching. Until next time.